guys, we're back. I'm Travis.
I'm Gabby, and today we have a spooky video.
Dun dun dun. So this video is gonna be a little story time about the time we almost died and a paranormal experience.
So you guys can grab some snacks, grab some blankets. It's gonna get spooky. I'm like serious.
Where do we begin?
Okay guys, it's a bit too hot in here. I'm not gonna wear this blanket. So, we rented an Airbnb with Travis's mom last summer. The Airbnb looked really nice. Everything was renovated. Yeah, outside it was like beautiful. It looked like a nice neighborhood. So we were like, oh, we about to have some nice time up north in Canada. That's not what happened.
First night we got there, it was pretty late, so we just stayed inside. Then the second night, we went to have a campfire. So the fire pit looks nice, like it's all like, it's sunken down from the yard, and it's all like sand and then wood benches, right? We seen a sign somewhere that said that the lawn sprinklers go off at midnight. So we're like, okay, that's the lawn, it's behind us, we're at the fire pit.
Mind you, in that Airbnb, you could have a fire until
2 or 3 in the morning. We're down there having the fire. As soon as it hits midnight, a sprinkler comes off from right behind me, shoots up and all over the fire pit, soaks the camera, us, the s'mores, everything. We scream, jump up, and like Gabby and I run down to a rock that's like in the water, and then my mom ran up.
My camera is out with like different camera lenses. There's like pillows, phones, s'mores, wood, everywhere, and we just like ran off. So as we're walking in the house now, Travis, oh, mind you, there are so many cameras.
This place was like it
was
property.
Big Brother. It was Big Brother. Like
Yes.
You were being watched everywhere. So as we're walking in, Travis gives the middle finger to one of the cameras. The only sprinkler that turned on was towards the fireplace. None of it was going on the grass. So we were like, what the f? So yeah, we go inside. We're like, okay, I guess we'll stay inside for the rest of the night. Travis and I
stayed up. The fire thing happened at midnight.
And
then we were inside for a while. And then all of this stuff started happening around 4 a.m. The juicy stuff that we are getting into.
The juicy stuff was before 4 a.m. Us.
Oh.
So Travis and I were doing our business.
Our room and my mom's room were like beside each other. So we had the music going from Gabby's laptop, like full blast.
Volume.
And it was hot because it was summer. So we had the AC on.
Which was super loud. We heard a noise and it sounded like a door. So then we stopped and I was like, is that your mom? And he's like, I don't know. We continued doing whatever we were doing.
And then probably like, what was it, like a minute?
Yeah, it was probably like a minute.
Probably like a minute later, we like hear a super loud like boom right on the door.
Our door. And the room was so small.
It was louder than that. Imagine a wooden door and it's just like knock. And then we heard like it sounded like fingers dragging. So I look right away. And then I see like a shadow from the side where the door handle is move away towards like the kitchen and front door area.
So then at this point, after that big ass noise, we're like, yo, like, please tell me that's your mom.
Like, is she pulling a prank on us?
Yeah, because his mom jokes around a lot. So we were like, it has to be her.
So I decided to call my mom. So I pick up my phone, I call my mom. I hear the phone ring, she answers. I was like, was that you? She said,
she's like, what? Like her voice like...
Like just waking up. Like, what do you mean? And I was like, did you just knock on the door? She was like, no, I'm in bed, you just woke me up. I was like, swear to God. And she's like, yeah, I swear to God. And then I look at Gabby and I'm like, shh.
Because when we say I swear to God, we're serious.
That's when I immediately reach for the door handle. There's no lock on the bedrooms, okay? So I reach for the door handle so that whatever's out there cannot open the door. And I tell my mom to do the same. So she gets up, she holds the door.
We were naked.
Someone walks in about to kill you. And you're naked.
I'm like nervous as hell. So I'm like, okay, I need some water. And there is a plate and a cup on top of it so that like we wouldn't ruin their furniture. My dumb ass wanted to drink some water, so I picked the cup up and I'm shaking so hard. My hands are doing this with the cup, and the cup is like touching the plate, and it's like, and I was like, and then I'm like drinking, like shaking, and then I put it back, and it's like.
So the fear was real, and like when you're standing there in that situation, someone or something can come in. You don't want to die naked.
No.
Right? Like, so I told Gabby, I was like, pass me my shorts because I am not going to die naked.
And right when you said that, I was sitting on the bed and I was just like thinking about life. Like I felt like I was gonna die. Like I was like thinking about like, damn, like this is it. Like I'm gonna die, murdered, whatever is going on right now. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So then we start to like look around. What do we have to protect ourselves? A tripod.
We had a camera tripod. I'm standing there, tripod in my hand. I'm like, okay, Mom, are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do this? Are we going out? And Gabby's there like, no.
Yeah, I was like,
like
crying. I was like, no, please don't go. That's stupid.
And then I look at Gabby, I'm like, if anything happens, I love you.
No, don't go, please don't go. That's really how it was, but we were being like quiet.
And this whole time I was still holding the door, and so was my mom.
I finally convinced him not to go, and I told him to call the cops. Cause I'm smart.
My mom still wanted to stay on the phone, but I had to call the cops. So Gabby called my mom, switched calls. I hung up with my mom, called the police. They answer, I'm like, hello, like whispering pretty loud.
Yeah. The whole time before that, we were just like super quiet, like trying not to f***ing die. That's what it was. Yeah. Even though they heard our music and all that.
And then it stopped.
Yeah. True.
I never thought about that. Music blaring, then. Oh my god. Okay, I was whispering, but I'm not gonna whisper just so y'all can hear me. So I was like, hello, and they're like, hi, this is. Do you need like police?
Oh my god, it doesn't matter.
I gave them the address, and they said, okay, the police are on their way. And then I gave them the code because it's an Airbnb, so there's a code entrance. We're like half an hour away from where the police should have been coming from. But then they're like, oh, they'll be there in 10 minutes.
So
remember that.
We were just waiting for the cops to show up.
Stayed on the phone. It was the longest 10 minutes when you feel like you're gonna die and you're holding the door because you think someone is gonna come in at any moment. It is not fun.
Finally, we see the lights of the cops pulling in. At this point, we have hope that we're gonna live. Yeah. But it's still a bit scary because the noise happened at our door, not outside. So we're like...
My dumbass, as soon as I heard the cop kick in the door and they said, police, I like opened the door, I'm like, look out. And all of a sudden there's like a flashlight and a taser pointing at me and they're like, are you staying here? I'm like, yes. They continue to like clear the rest of the house.
So as we're explaining the whole story, they're like asking us if there's anything that was open, like a door or a window or something. So we're like, no, like not that we know of. They asked us, did you guys check that sliding door? And we were like, oh, that door, it's set up to make it look like a window. There's like curtains on both sides and it's like set up like this.
You know when they drape down and they're like held with the ties?
So like when you have a door, like an actual door on the other side, like you don't think about using that sliding door for anything. Especially there's so many mosquitoes out there.
Oh
like,
my god.
We weren't gonna use that door at all.
The police officer was like, oh, so did you check that door? And I said, no, we haven't used it since we've been here. Like it should be locked. I walk over, I check the door, it slides right open. At that point, my heart just went, my heart dropped, okay? That was so scary. So then they were like, oh, that was probably like
how the person came in. So then we keep talking to the cops for a while, talking about the situation. And then Travis's mom asks the police officers, how did you get here so fast? And then the police officer says that someone in the neighborhood had already called saying that there was a suspicious person walking on the street by themselves. Mind you, it's 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
Up north.
Up north, there's this 6-foot guy in a black hoodie just walking on the streets.
Like with the hood on, not just wearing a hoodie. So we were like, oh.
So we were still shooken up, but unfortunately the police had to leave.
Yeah, like I felt so safe when they were there, and then once they left, I was like, oh. Travis's mom calls the owner of the Airbnb, and she's like explaining the whole story, and she's like, oh, like that's so unfortunate, like I feel so bad, I'm sorry, blah,
We've
blah,
never
blah.
had any of that happen, blah blah blah. We were like, oh, can you check the cameras to see if there was anyone there?
So since they had so many cameras around the property, they must be working, right?
That's when on the phone she was like, oh, but the problem is at night the cameras aren't normally. And then she stopped.
She stops talking.
And then she's like, oh, let me talk to my husband.
So she sounded suspicious a little bit.
Mm-hmm. She talks to her husband, and then comes back to the phone. She says, oh, okay, we can check them. So then we ask her to email it to us and to the police.
The next day, we wake up and we're like, what the hell happened yesterday, you know? Mm-hmm. So then we started exploring the house a little bit. We walk around the fire pit to see what happened the previous night. We find like a timer on the hose.
There was a sprinkler on the fire pit, 3 on the grass.
So then there's a timer on the hose, and we checked it, and it said 12, 1, 2, 3. So because we were like paranoid with whatever happened the last day, we're like making conspiracies, and we're like, oh, what if like they did that to like make sure that we're in the house if like they were to like walk in or something, because she sounded suspicious when we asked for the footage, so we were like, oh.
Remember, the fire code says until like 3 a.m. you can have a fire, but their sprinklers go off at 12.
And the first one is where the fire pit is, so it makes no sense. So then we were like, ha, busted. And at this point we still didn't have the footage because these people weren't sending it.
We called again, and they said that they were still reviewing the footage. We asked her about the fire thing. We said that we got like soaked last night, so we were asking why the sprinkler goes off, and then she's like, oh, all of them go off at midnight. And we're like, no, only the fire pit was going off, and we seen the timer. All the other ones on the grass are set until like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And then she's like, oh, well, we just don't want people like going to sleep and then leaving the fire running and starting a fire.
So first, she wanted to say the sprinklers all go off at the same time, and then we caught her on her lie, and then now she's trying to say like, oh. So she's pissing us off at this point.
We keep walking around the property. I noticed this black metal thing in the ground. I think that it's like a tool for the campfire. I was like, oh damn, that would have been helpful last night. I pick it up, I look at it, and as soon as I turn it back over, this thing snaps down on my thumb so hard and so quick.
It was loud.
And then I open it back up and throw it on the ground. This thing cut me on the top and bottom of my thumb. It was a mole trap. It's meant to kill moles. And
behind the fire pit, those things are supposed to be underground. It was just like on top of the grass, and it was set up to like snap.
And what's bad about that is the night before, my mom was in flip-flops standing back there taking pictures. Like, she could have gotten her toe in that, her foot, and wait,
imagine like a person that goes there with their baby and stuff, and the baby's just playing around the grass.
The teeth are shaped like this, right? They're on an angle. So where it got my thumb was like right in the middle of the teeth, the highest point, but it still like snapped my fingers. Closer back, it like actually
it closes.
Crosses, yeah. Who knows? That could have snapped my thumb off or broken my finger, and they're just leaving that on the ground.
We were mad, we were scared, we were sad, we were
injured.
Yeah.
So after that, my mom starts talking to not the neighbors beside us, but the ones over from that. Basically, those people were like horrified at what they were hearing, and they were saying how like everyone in the neighborhood is uncomfortable with all the cameras that they have put up.
Everyone in the neighborhood knows that house for how many cameras they have in there. The neighbors that like live around the house that the people rent their cottages for like Airbnb also feel uncomfortable going there because of how many cameras there are on the Airbnb that we stayed at. Do you know how many cameras you need to have in there so people feel this way and everyone knows your house because of it?
We said like that the cops got there so fast because there was a report of a 6-foot man, tall, skinny, just walking around. And then they was like, that's funny you say that. The husband of the owner matches that description.
And then the heart dropped again. So then like at this point, everything's trying to make sense. You're trying to put us in bed at 12 so that we don't stay outside too long. And we go to sleep sooner. We hear someone in the house.
They left the door open because we never used it.
They were lying about some things and they weren't sending us the footage right away like they said. And the person matches the husband? What do you expect that we're gonna start thinking?
So we got inside, we were on the phone texting her, and she said that there's nothing on the camera.
So you're trying to tell me that we're crazy?
Because there was something there. Something knocked on the door, dragged its fingers, and
he
there's
seen
a
the shadow. So you're trying to tell me that no one was there? All your cameras didn't catch anything?
We decided that we didn't want to stay there any longer. We were just like done with it.
Over
we were scared. Didn't want that to happen again. Also, when we were talking to the neighbor, he said that that couple had always been really like suspicious. The wife would do whatever the husband said. Like if he said cut wood, she'd cut wood. Like she does whatever he says.
Where's the footage at?
We said, can you send it to us? And then she said, yeah, I'll work on that. Send. That's it. We did not want to stay there. We didn't feel safe. We decided that we'd have dinner and then go.
We were gonna use our barbecue while we're waiting for the footage already for like hours and hours.
Like this is like dinner time, so it was like probably like 12 hours later because it was like 6 in the morning when we called and asked.
Travis's mom is like, can you turn on the barbecue and I'll bring the food out and then I'll cook. Travis goes outside and he's like turning the barbecue on. As soon as he turns the thing on,
like I was down there turning the gas on. As soon as I turn the knob, she's phoning my mom.
Like not like quick, like as soon as he does this, the phone. Bling.
My mom answers the phone and she's like, he's not supposed to be using the barbecue. She said, oh, he's not, he's just starting it for me because I have all the food in my hands.
And then she's like trying to say that like
no one under 18 can use the barbecue. We can have you evicted for breach of lease and all that. We can call the police on you. And we're like,
yeah. Like what?
Nowhere. We checked. Nowhere.
Travis was under 18 at that point.
I checked through like all the paperwork, all of the forms we signed.
You called someone.
I called the police and I called the fire department asking if there was any law about that, and they're like, no, we've never heard of that anywhere. She's getting mad at us. We cook, we eat, we pack up,
we cut.
We go home, and then we call the police after like, what was it, like I think about 2 weeks, and they still hadn't got the footage. So we're like, how does it take 2 weeks for her to send a bit of footage?
I cannot stress enough how scared I was, even though I wasn't at that cottage anymore.
An uneasy feeling, because we truly thought we were gonna die. To this day, we don't know who was in there.
Make sure that you're always paying attention everywhere you go.
Stay safe.
Wash your hands.
Alright everyone, that's it for today's story time. We hope you enjoyed. Make sure to comment down below what you thought of this, what you think it was, if it was the owner, if it was the ghost, paranormal stuff, who knows.
So yeah, like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more from us, and if you're new to this channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of our videos, and all of our social medias will be down below.
Thank you guys for watching this video, and we'll see you next week.
Woo!